Ladies and gentlemen, please ensure you move to your seats. The ceremony will begin in 1 minute. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Major Nathan Clayson, and it is my distinct honor to be the narrator for today's event. Welcome to this afternoon's ceremony as we pay tribute to Brigadier General Cindy R. Jebb, the 14th Dean of the Academic Board, on the occasion of her retirement after 39 years of dedicated service to her country and the United States Army. Please ensure that your cell phones and electronic devices are either turned off or in the silent mode for the duration of the ceremony. Throughout the ceremony, cues will be given to stand and be seated at the appropriate times. Officiating today's ceremony is Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams, the 60th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy. We are also honored to have in attendance many distinguished guests. Major General Diana M. Holland, Commander of the Mississippi Valley Division of the U.S. Corps of Engineers. Dr. Joel Jebb for the United States Military Academy Prep School. Ellen Glazier, the Jebb and Glazier families, and several dear family friends. Please join me in a round of applause for all the family members, friends, and extended family in attendance for today's ceremony and their support of General Jebb during her long and successful career. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party, the playing of honors, the singing of the national anthem, and the invocation given by Colonel David Lyle.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, those broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly screaming, and the rockets red clear, the balls bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
Let us pray. Gracious God, we lift our eyes to the hills because we know our help comes from you, the maker of heaven and earth. You are always faithful in your love for us, and we acknowledge you as the source of our strength. Today we pause to thank you for the many talents that you have endowed the Jebbs with, both individually and as a couple. The West Point community, the Army, and our country have benefited from their response to your call to use their talents in service to others. We ask that you might look mercifully upon them as they continue to serve you and all those around them in their leadership roles at Ramapo College and at the West Point Prep School. May you always be the substance of their work and the object of their endeavors throughout the entirety of their lives. And may you continue to reveal yourself to them so that they might experience your lasting peace. We pray this in the name of the commander of all of heaven's armies. Amen.
Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce the 60th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams.
Yeah, we got a chance against Navy this year. We got a chance. All right.
82.
All right, where is this thing? One that says Williams, right? There we go. How about it for the band and Sergeant Major? Let's give it up for them again. Sergeant Major, you didn't ask us to join in this time. Earlier this morning, Sergeant Major, she always says, hey, join in with us. Like, really, we can approach her level, right? When she sings, she's all, you hear her voice echoing all through the clouds there a little while ago? Sergeant Major, awesome what you do here. Thanks very much for what you do. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to see everyone here for game 2 of our academic program double hitter. Thank you all for being here as we celebrate the career of one of the Army's and West Point's finest and an outstanding scholar, educator, and leader, Brigadier General Cindy Jebb. It's great to see so many familiar faces here, friends, family, classmates, former staff and faculty, kind of a who's who of the long gray line. We're glad you're here to honor Cindy, and I'm pleased to welcome you back to our alma mater. A few distinguished guests in particular I'd like to acknowledge. Former Acting Secretary of the Army, the Honorable Patrick Murphy. Former Deputy Undersecretary of the Army, Mr. Tom Kelly. And Assistant Secretary of Defense, MNRA nominee, Ms. Sue Fulton from the class of 1980. Laura, good to see you. General Kaufman and others. Tim, I see you, Tim. Tim and Donna, are you here? Good to see you, Tim. You're hiding back there. Good to see you, Tim and Donna. It's also great to see Cindy's family here. Her husband, Joel, the other Dr. Jebb, their kids, Ben, Olivia, and Alex, who's watching virtually, Ben's wife, Heather, and their son, Carter, Cindy's brother, Rob, and a very special welcome to Cindy's mom, Ellen. Let's give them all a round of applause, please. I know today is Cindy's day, but I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Joel. Cindy has had one incredible journey, and it's a journey she and Joel have traveled together from their cadet days to serving together as young officers and then teaching here together. Joel, I know Cindy wouldn't be here today without your love and support, and I know you'd say the same thing about her. So on behalf of the entire West Point team and the United States Army, I'd like to express my thanks and appreciation not only for your tremendous support to Cindy throughout her career, but for your own career and service. and your continued service up the hill here at the prep school. Let's give Joel a round of applause here. Joel's also a former teammate of mine on the football field, and more importantly, a former cager on the basketball court when we were captains here. He's quite the competitor. Bishop Desmond Tutu once said, "Don't raise your voice, improve your argument." If you spent more than 5 minutes around Cindy Jebb, you know one of her favorite phrases is outthink Navy. It's not enough to just beat Navy. She wants to outthink him too. I love it. It's also important to outthink them because Cindy knows, as Bishop Tutu suggests, that sometimes the best way to outfight an opponent is to outthink that opponent. For the United States Army to accomplish its mission and win in any environment, we need leaders who are not only trained, disciplined, and fit, as General McConville frequently alludes to, but we also need leaders who are, as the Army strategy states, smart, thoughtful, and innovative. And at West Point today, our leader development approach seeks to do both, and we're doing it. Blending both the soldier and the scholar, leaders with military and physical skills who are prepared to fight and win in the crucible of ground combat, but who are also equipped with the intellectual agility, the creative and critical thinking skills to lead in challenging, complex, and often uncertain environments. For the past 5 years, Brigadier General Jebb has led our academic program, the culmination of nearly 4 decades of service, dedicating to develop those smart, thoughtful, and innovative leaders of character and preparing them to fight, lead, and win on the 21st century battlefield. I think we're all familiar with Cindy's story of origin and how she came to West Point, inspired by a magazine article about the girls' basketball team, women's basketball team. The more she read about West Point, the more she got hooked on its emphasis of developing the whole person and the focus on service. During her 4 years here, she distinguished herself in the classroom as well as the volleyball court. A 2-time letter winner and team captain in her first year, she met the love of her life, Joel. I think Joel, right? I know Joel. And was one of those few that admits to actually enjoying Camp Buckner. She graduated with the select few, class of 82. Tim, I think you and I could do better than that. Let's try it one more time. Select few, class of 82. Okay. This is your dean. I heard it. And spent her early years in military intelligence in a post-Vietnam late Cold War Army, serving as a lieutenant in 1st Armored Division in Germany, followed by assignments as a communications intelligence test officer in Korea and company command at Fort Hood, before earning her master's degree at Duke and coming back to West Point as an instructor. After being selected as an academy professor, Cindy earned her doctorate at Duke and served as a Brigade S3 and deputy commander at Fort Meade before returning to West Point for good. Winston Churchill said that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. For anyone who's ever served at West Point in any capacity, instructor, professor, TAC, coach, we know it's more than an assignment. It's a privilege because we not only have the opportunity to give back to the Army and this institution, but we get to pay it forward by training the next generation of leaders. Nobody's embraced that more than Cindy Jebb. For someone who always valued the ideal of service, something that brought her here in the first place, the opportunity to teach at West Point was an opportunity to give back to an institution that values intellectual curiosity and gave her such a great foundation. Throughout her years of service here on the faculty, instructor, professor, department head, and the dean, Cindy's efforts and focus on educating and developing leaders of character have been less duty and more of an honor, privilege, and labor of love. Her resume is more than a list of academic achievements, and there are many. It's a testament to giving back and paying it forward. Whether behind the podium in the classroom, on the fields of friendly strife, as the volleyball team's OR, and the Academy's faculty athletic representative, leading the social department, chairing scores of governance and professor search committees, including co-chairing the Middle States Reaccreditation Self-Study, authoring numerous books, journal articles, and conference papers, or bringing her expertise back to the Army through a variety of operational field research experiences and sabbaticals, to include 4 trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. The hallmarks of Cindy Jebb's career have been giving back and paying it forward. Selfless service with distinction and excellence. And all that was before she became the dean. In the summer of 2016, recognizing her stellar leadership, the Army selected her as our 14th dean, the first woman in the Academy's history to hold the position. As the story goes, the Army announced Cindy's nomination the same day we kicked off the Athena's Arena Conference, which celebrated 40 years of women at West Point. When the news was announced to the attendees, they all burst out with a standing ovation. However, Cindy wasn't there to see it. She was busy in class, teaching, giving back, paying it forward. As dean, Cindy transformed the academic program to better educate and develop cadets and to better meet the needs of a 21st century Army, restructuring the academic schedule to help cadets better manage unstructured time, overseeing the creation of a new core course, introducing cadets to the Army profession, and adding 4 new academic majors and a new diversity minor, all aligned with and better to support current Army priorities and modernization efforts. She invested in people, initiating the first comprehensive talent management effort for all PUSMA Academy professors and Title X searches, enhancing the prestige of West Point as a broadening assignment and ensuring we attracted the very best talent. She particularly recognized the value and importance of our rotating instructors, the young captains and majors who come to West Point to teach and return to the force, and made their development one of her top priorities. Many from this second graduating class of faculty she's led and mentored over the years are leading in our Army as we speak right now as battalion and brigade commanders or senior staff officers. She invested in technology, overseeing the transformation of our IT infrastructure to Office 365, an upgrade that would prove critical over this past year. As we, within mere days, for those who are coming back here to the Academy, in a few days, we were able to very quickly pivot to remote learning in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. No other institution did that. West Point did that. Her leadership ensured a smooth transition and continued operations, including graduating the class of 2020, allowing us to deliver about 1,000 new lieutenants to the force, providing readiness to the United States Army. She ensured we supported the Army in other ways too, promoting the rich and extensive intellectual capital resident here. She developed close links with Army Futures Command and its subordinate command. Today, West Point conducts research work supporting all 6 of Army modernization efforts, not only through the faculty and research centers, but with our cadets. For example, nearly 20% of cadet projects at last month's Projects Day supported Army modernization efforts. When the Army has some tough problems they need help solving, they pick up the phone and dial 1-800-WEST POINT, all thanks to Cindy's leadership and vision. The United States Military Academy continues to be synonymous with academic excellence throughout the globe, thanks to Cindy Jebb, a reputation reflected in everything from the national rankings, placing us among the top colleges and universities year after year after year. To the world-class faculty recognized for their research and intellectual contributions to the Army and the nation, to the numerous cadets who excel in academic competition, plus the more than 200 cadets winning graduate scholarships during her tenure, including 5 Rhodes Scholars, 7 Marshall Scholars, and 25 Fulbright Scholars. There's no argument as to how much Cindy has both given back and paid forward over the past 4 decades in terms of her contributions to the Academy, the Army, and academia. Like I said, her resume speaks for itself, and it's impressive. But her most significant contributions, her real superpowers, aren't those listed on a piece of paper. They're the day-to-day interactions with people, leading, mentoring, and just simply interacting with people, especially cadets. And you'd always find her out there around cadets in the classroom, the academic clubs, our athletic teams, from volleyball to powerlifting. In fact, rumor has it that her staff considered setting up meetings with the cadets just to put her in a good mood. She empowers her people to get results, values their input, and everyone has an equal say. She always tries to support new ideas, and she's all about building and supporting cohesive teams. And she's built many over the years. Cindy likes to talk often about unhurried moments, taking time amid the day-to-day churn and busyness to slow down and smell the roses, so to speak. But if I had to guess, her favorite unhurried moments are those times with people, stopping, talking, and connecting with them on a human level. Whether the most junior cadet or the most senior faculty member, Cindy always made time to stop, check on them, and offer an encouraging word or ask how she could help. As I said a few weeks ago at the academic board dinner, if you truly want a master class in people first, just follow Cindy around for a day. At SOUP, I couldn't have asked for a better dean and a better teammate than Cindy. Cindy, I've appreciated your sound counsel, your calm and steady leadership, and above all, your total commitment to developing the leaders of character who will lead our Army through the 21st century and beyond. Kelu Kelu is a Nigerian-born political science and research professor. He once said that the things you do for yourself are gone when you're gone, but the things you do for others remain as your legacy. Cindy, in a few moments, will retire you from the United States Army. You'll take off your uniform one last time and leave West Point and the Army as you head down the road to Ramapo College. You leave behind a body of incredible work and numerous accomplishments as a soldier, a scholar, and a leader. All done not for yourself, but in the service of others. A career of excellence and doing for others, of giving back and paying forward. You leave an extraordinary legacy of excellence on the Academy and its academic program, but your true legacy are the lives you've touched over the years. Not only those who sit before you today, but the thousands upon thousands of cadets, officers, and faculty you've educated, mentored, and inspired over the years, all of whom are leading honorably, and demonstrating excellence. Because of your example, your dedication and caring leadership, and your passion for academic excellence, and on their behalf, I thank you. And on behalf of the Army and the nation, thank you for your years of dedicated service, and congratulations on an extraordinary career. Thank you. Go Army and outthink Navy. Cool.
Will Brigadier General Jebb and Colonel Michael Yankovich approach? Please stand. At this time, Colonel Michael Yankovich, Vice Dean for Operations, will award the Distinguished Service Medal to Brigadier General Jebb. Attention to orders. By order of the President of the United States, the Distinguished Service Medal is presented to Brigadier General Cindy R. Jebb for exceptionally meritorious service to the government and duties of great responsibility over a 39-year career, culminating as Dean of the Academic Board, United States Military Academy. Brigadier General Jebb's tremendous influence changed the way the Army develops leaders of character at the preeminent leader institution in the world. As the Dean of the Academic Board, she spearheaded critical initiatives such as the revising of the academic curriculum and schedule, instilling a culture of boldness and innovation, overseeing the initiation of a $1.2 billion building upgrade program, initiating a comprehensive talent management effort, and applying lessons learned to upgrade existing information technology systems to world-class education technology. Brigadier General Jebb presided over a robust partnership between dozens of Army, federal, and academic institutions to leverage intellectual capital to solve hundreds of Army problems and provide direct research support to all 6 Army modernization priorities. Each year, her efforts brought the Academy international acclaim for its academic excellence and peerless educational experience. A strategic visionary and caring leader, she made enormous and lasting contributions to all aspects of the Academy and its mission to develop leaders of character for the nation. Brigadier General Jebb's distinctive accomplishments are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon her, the United States Military Academy, and the United States Army. Signed, James C. McConville, Chief of Staff of the Army. Will Dr. Joel Jebb please approach? Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Jebb will now award the Meritorious Civilian Service Medal to Dr. Joel Jebb. Attention to orders. By order of the Superintendent, United States Military Academy, the Meritorious Civilian Service Award is presented to Dr. Joel Jebb for devotion, leadership, and commitment to the Army, West Point, Corps of Cadets, and greater Army community, and as a supportive and caring spouse over the last 39 years. His selfless example of community service and total dedication to the mission has resulted in a greater quality of life and improved readiness and resilience for hundreds of soldiers, families, cadet candidates, and cadets across the Army and at West Point. Dr. Jebb's many contributions have been invaluable to the United States Military Academy Preparatory School, the United States Military Academy, the West Point community, and the United States Army. Signed, Darrell A. Williams, Lieutenant General, Superintendent. At this time, will Dr. Jean Blair please approach? Dr. Blair will present the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Joel Jebb. The certificate reads, on the occasion of the retirement of Brigadier General Jebb from the United States Army, Dr. Joel E. Jebb is being presented the Certificate of Appreciation as acknowledgement of support and understanding which contributed significantly to her career in the service of the Army and the nation. Signed, Darrell A. Williams, Lieutenant General, Superintendent. Dr. Jebb, Dr. Blair, you may both take your seats. Will Dr. Jim Dalton please approach? It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jim Dalton, Associate Dean, Academic Affairs and Registrar Services, United States Military Academy, who will present Brigadier General Jebb with the United States flag. This is to certify that this flag of the United States of America was flown to honor Brigadier General Cindy R. Jebb for her years of outstanding, honorable, and faithful service to our nation on 15 March 2021 over U.S. Army Ilsheim, Germany, Brigadier General Jebb's first duty station. On 29 April 2021, over Building 600, Taylor Hall, on Brigadier General Jebb's last project stay at the United States Military Academy, and on 22 May 2021, over Trophy Point, to mark the successful graduation of her last class, the class of 2021, at the United States Military Academy, West Point, New York. Will Dr. Rachel Sondheimer please approach? Dr. Rachel Sondheimer, the Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, will now present the certificate for Brigadier General Jebb's appointment as Professor Emerita, an honor recognizing her long service as a member of the Academic Board. In recognition of her distinguished record as an educator, scholar, and faculty leader, and with the highest regard for her contributions to the goals and objectives of the academic program, the Academic Board, United States Military Academy, appoints Brigadier General Cindy Jebb as Professor Emerita. Will Major General Diana Holland please approach? Ladies and gentlemen, General Holland will now present the Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America and make brief remarks. I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to your country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. I trust that in the coming years, you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purposes for which you served. Those who follow in your footsteps will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief.
So I was asked to provide or given the opportunity to make a couple minutes worth of remarks. And when I started drafting my remarks, I realized there's no way I can just stick to 2 minutes. So I apologize to those who organized the event. I'm going to take a little bit longer. And I suggested to Cindy that she sit down because my remarks are about 7 minutes. We only do this once. We'll never repeat this occasion. So I wanted to be sure that I did it right. So good afternoon, everyone. It's such an honor to be here today. And I guess what I want to start with, since I have this captive audience and all these leaders at West Point, is to start by thanking you for all that you've done, certainly what you've done in general, but definitely over the past 15 months. At this point, I've been an outsider, but looking in, it's been extraordinary, the challenges that you have faced. And you handled it with such grace and really led the Army in what is in the realm of the possible in continuing with the mission, but protecting our cadets. So I'd like to give all of you a round of applause. We appreciate your leadership. So, of course, we're all gathered here today specifically to celebrate the career of Brigadier General Cindy Jebb, her almost 40 years of Army service, culminating as the Dean. The impact of Cindy's service exceeds that of most of us, including myself. She'll be one of the very last members of the class of '82 to retire. The class had about 863 on graduation day, and 63 of them were women. The third class at West Point to have women. Her career has been covered well, and I don't want to be repetitive. So I'm going to speak from the perspective of a friend, former neighbor, sister in arms, and great admirer. I'd been the commandant for about 4 months when it was announced that Cindy would be the next dean. We really didn't know each other. Our paths had briefly overlapped at times. We even attended the same graduate school, but still timing didn't bring us together. I knew only of her strong reputation. Her appointment was announced, as the soup already mentioned, at the Athena's Arena conference, and I quickly set out to get to know her. And you know how it is, every once in a while in life, you run into somebody and you immediately bond and you feel like you've known each other your entire lives. And that's exactly how it was in 2016. And it was gratifying and a relief on a personal level to have my fellow senior leader and neighbor also turn out to be a great friend. But it was even more important for the institution. As the weeks and months passed, the relationship between us and our offices evolved into a true partnership over shared responsibilities rather than a match between competing programs. I know that was of great benefit to the Corps and the Academy as a whole. And while I may have outranked her technically by a few months, Cindy was definitely the senior partner. She had a lot more experience here than I did, knew the history and the personalities, and I learned so much from her. And honestly, I missed that regular engagement with her ever since I departed in 2017. I don't know how many times in West Point's history when the commandant was the dean's biggest fan, but I can tell you that was true during our service here together. On a lighter note, it was interesting and a novelty having us here at the same time. I believe there was an audible gasp across the long gray line briefly when it became known that there would be 2 women generals at West Point. As they say, or as kids say today, it was all good. Cindy and I had fun with it. And I think the best part was the inability of many old grads and not so old grads, honestly, to differentiate between us. People were frequently confused which one was which, I often being complimented for brilliant presentations I'd made at various academic forums. And Cindy being reminded that drill and ceremonies and a disciplined corps of cadets was essential in the development of future officers. And astonishingly, even recently, just this past March, I've been gone from West Point almost 4 years. I was in the Pentagon when a colonel walked up to me and asked how West Point was doing. I sighed, debated on whether I would fire back a terse response, and instead answered, "Well, I hear it's doing pretty good." She walked away, obviously confused by that answer. There was also a disadvantage of having 2 of us here. We had to pay attention to which service cap we picked up as we were leaving social events. This does not happen to us normally. When we weren't paying attention, the consequences were obvious. It turns out that our hat sizes are quite different, and I couldn't pretend that Cindy's fit on my head. But all kidding aside, it was such a joy to be here while Cindy was the dean and to watch the Corps and the Academy be shaped by her quiet yet strong leadership. Just in the 18 months we overlapped, I observed her making a difference in pursuing upgraded facilities, improving the curriculum, shaping a new and more sane cadet schedule, overseeing record numbers of scholarships, the soup has already highlighted that, and exceptionally high national academic rankings. I remember her in particular highlighting that West Point had been ranked #1 in the nation for most accessible faculty. She values the devotion to students and their education, so I think she was most proud of that ranking. Speaking of the faculty, she emphasized communication with them, giving them a voice, and taking seriously the importance of the rotating faculty, the second graduating class. And Cindy always took time to listen, demonstrate empathy and patience, and show care for others. In the lead up to this day, I solicited some feedback from old grads. I expected to get some stories and platitudes that I could use for my remarks. Instead, I was overwhelmed by the volume of that feedback. Too much to share in these remarks, and Cindy, I'll share that with you off to the side. But to sum up, you have a huge fan club. You have impacted far more than you realize. I can't tell you how many people responded to me with, "She won't remember me, but here is how she influenced my cadet experience or my Army career or my role as an officer, or role as a wife, or role as a mother who also happens to be an Army officer. And Cindy, I can't think of a better legacy than that. To the Jebb and extended To the Jebb and extended family, your support of this amazing woman was essential and key to her and our success. Thank you for your service, your contributions, and the difference you made in your own right, directly and indirectly, to our Army and this institution. Finally, Cindy, we're so excited to see you heading off to another adventure at another impressive institution, Ramapo College, one that shares your values and, whether they know it or not, truly needs your leadership and perspective. Congratulations, my friend. We're so proud of you. So speaking of Ramapo College, I went on their website, was looking for their motto because I was going to honor you by repeating their motto, but I didn't find one. Or at least it wasn't obvious. So I would suggest your first act, institute the tried and true, go Army, beat the Dean, and outsmart Navy. So at this time, Cindy, if you could come back to the front. I'm going off script. That's why she's trying to signal me what to do next, and she doesn't know what I'm about to do. So class of 82, I'd like you to stand. It's mandatory for you. Your participation is mandatory. It's optional for everyone else who knows how to do the rocket. So I felt like we were missing something in this ceremony, and I feel like we need to send off General Jebb with a good old Army rocket. So, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm back on script now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to invite General Williams and the Jebb and Glazier families to join me in the front while Captain Ben Jebb will read the retirement orders.
Please stand. Attention to orders. By the order of the Chief of Staff of the Army, Cindy R. Jebb, Brigadier General, Dean of the Academic Board, United States Military Academy, is retired from active duty with an effective date of 31 August 2021, and on the day following, placed on the retired list. The people of the United States express their thanks and gratitude for your faithful service. Your contributions to the defense of the United States of America are greatly appreciated. Signed, Brigadier General Thomas J. Edwards, Director, Officer Personnel Management Directorate.
Will the Jebb and Glazer families please remain at the front? Ladies and gentlemen, you may also take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Cindy Jebb.
So I'm a little overwhelmed right now, so we're going to start with gifts before my prepared remarks. So I'm going to start with Mom. We're going to talk about everybody in a few minutes, but we thought this would be a choreographed moment. Ellie. Stephanie. Max, Madeline, Rob, and Sarah Glazer. So when you're getting ready to move, you start cleaning out closets. And I found a fatigue that still says Glazer. So I thought the Glazer family can use that one. Okay, Olivia and Roshan. The BDUs go to the captain's Jebb, and it even has an MI. Alex is at the national track meet, so he's getting OCPs. So we'll leave it for them. And for my husband, who I'm going to talk about in a moment, he's getting the house. I could not feel more honored and humbled to have this opportunity to say thank you. You know, I told the Corps that we will not say goodbye, but rather until we meet again. So this is not a goodbye. First, I want to thank everyone across the West Point community, from Garrison, USMA staff, and Dean staffs who put this ceremony together. And it's indicative. 2 months ago, we thought we'd all be in masks, and but it's amazing the adaptation towards the changing conditions, and I really appreciate that. I do want to recognize, and I'm grateful for my awesome executive officer, Major Nate Clayson. And executive assistant, Ms. Janine Gizzi, for everything. And I want to thank you all for being here, because it was not easy, I know, for many of you to travel. And I want to thank everybody who's online right now. I find myself in these last few months feeling immense gratitude. And that gratitude comes from reflection and taking time to remember well, which I learned from a recent New York Times op-ed titled, "Can We Really Picture Auschwitz?" by Bret Stephens, that ends with, quote, "We live best and understand best when we remember well." So it's important to remember well, to remember the values that matter, the values that define you, to remember relationships and the people and community, and to remember that our mission is rooted in the common defense of our republic. And to remember well for me deepens my gratitude to have had this opportunity to serve and to have had so many people in my life who inspire me every day. So let me begin with my love and gratitude for my family, my parents. And I know Dad is with us. Mom, you and Dad instilled values, love of family, and the idea that Jan, Rob, and I could accomplish anything as long as we worked hard and gave it our all. Thank you for your continued loving support throughout. Joel and I love seeing the strong and loving relationship you and Dad have had with our kids. Love you. And I'm so happy. And I'm so happy that you and Ellie had each other through this past year. Ellie, thank you for being such a loving member of our family. To Joel, who has been a gung-ho armor officer, selfless, passionate youth sports coach, and tremendous supporter of our children's athletic careers, director of class support for AOG, and an extraordinary teacher and leader of cadets and cadet candidates for 23 years, who earned his PhD from Columbia at the age of 55. We met plebe year. We were from different backgrounds, and we fell in love, and were married 3 days after graduation. 39 years tomorrow. So to be clear, I would not be standing here were it not for him. Twice I had been stationed away from our family for a year at a time. The kids were 1, 3, and 4, and later 7, 9, and 10, as well as for many shorter travels and deployments. And he raised our children by himself during those times while working full time. He's been my confidant and best friend and greatest supporter, whether by taking care of the great majority of our family activities, being a constant source of counsel and comfort, making extraordinary sacrifices, or always strongly encouraging me to seize the next opportunity. And over the years, we've lost family, and especially after 20 years of war, we have also lost friends, students, and colleagues, as I know many here have as well. And I will always remember Ted, a close friend whom we lost, who years ago, in the midst of standing in a line for coffee out of the blue, just looked up to me and said, "Joel is a good man." You're a good man, Joel. Thank you, and I love you. Our kids grew up here for the most part. We were that West Point family you see these days. They are loving, kind-hearted, and amazing people, and I learned so much from them, more than they will ever know. Ben, Alex, Olivia, and now Heather, and grandson Carter. So thank you, Jebblets. Alex couldn't be with us today. He's with his Hopkins athletes who qualified for nationals. He coaches while also working for Accenture and just earned a very nice promotion. I should mention Olivia graduated from NYU Medical School last week, and boyfriend Roshan heads to the Stern Business School before he continues his medical school studies. Ben, Heather, and Carter are headed to Princeton. And let me add how much Uncle Joel and I love our nieces and nephews. And we are thrilled that Max and Madeline and their parents, Rob and Sarah, are here today. And sister-in-law Stephanie is here, and I know Catherine and your mom are with us as well. Family online are Jan, Dave, Lena, Andrew, Joe, Caroline, Carson, and little Joel, Cameron, Maria, Henry, Shona, Jim, and Melinda. Thank you. I want to thank my treasured friends from childhood to now. Joanne Galgano Woodworth and Eileen Kincannon Hillebrand, we've come a long way since Chestnut Grove Elementary. Thank you to all my dear friends. I attended a wonderful high school, and I'm grateful to my teachers and coaches. I especially want to thank Ginny Gertis, Martha Shanahan, and Barb Hemmink, who coached me, but as I learned years later, fought for girls to have equal opportunities for sports during a time when there was little support and even scorn and disdain. It reminded me when I was preparing for the RBG fireside chat and read about all the cases RBG strategically took on how, as she would have said, brick by brick was able to introduce change that won rights for women, especially in the military, and a place of dignity and respect. It was for sports that first introduced me to West Point. As a young Jewish woman from Rockland County and not from a military family, I didn't know about West Point, as the superintendent mentioned, until I read an article about the first women's basketball team, the Sugar Smacks. And it was the West Point values described in that article that captured my imagination. Thank you to the women of the class of '80, the first West Point women graduates whom graduated today 41 years ago. And thank you to the class of '82, the select few. I am immensely grateful to every one of you. And to the women of '82, the select fewest, whom I've gotten to know even better over the years. I always look forward to our annual get-togethers. You are an amazingly talented, caring group, and I'm humbled to be counted amongst you. Thank you to my G1 classmates. I've enjoyed our mini reunions with G1 firsties over the last several years. And I want to thank Army Women's Volleyball. I came to West Point recruited for basketball and softball. It was a thrill to see Coach Champy and Coach Helsel come to see me play. But it was Coach Bertucci's tap on the shoulder that introduced me to Army Volleyball. And I'm forever grateful to the Army Volleyball men who went from Corps Squad to club when the Army Volleyball women went from club to Corps Squad in '78. The men responded with such maturity, care, and kindness. Thank you. I love my classes and my Ps. Thank you to those inspiring faculty members. I learned so much, especially about the importance of investing in people. I wanted to be just like them. I remember the NCO soldiers and officers of the 1st Brigade, 1st Armored Division. Somebody has to give me a weather check because I'm standing here and the sky is open. We're good? All right. And I can tell you how meaningful it was to learn that Lieutenant Austin LaChance flew the flag over Illesheim. I'm grateful that I had a chance to learn from those wonderful people. I grew up in the 1st Armored Division during the Cold War. I'm grateful to our German landlords and to have had the opportunity to live in a burg with its own castle on the hill. I'm grateful to the officers who assigned me to the brigade at a time when women were not supposed to be there. And I'm grateful to have held an armored job when I served as HHCXO. I'm grateful to all the NCOs, soldiers, and officers, the 501st MI Battalion. I love serving there in Kotterbach. I used to love to jump in a Jeep with no radio. I remember serving at TCAT, later TEXCOM, and grateful for the opportunity to work with talented contractors, DA civilians, officers, and NGOs, and lay the groundwork for experiments and exercises in Germany and Korea. And I love moving over to command and grateful to have served with amazing people. And that's there where I met Maxie McFarland, who has since passed, but loved learning from his innovative intellect and courageous spirit. I'm grateful that Joel and I were picked up by West Point to teach and had the opportunity to go to graduate school at Duke, where in the span of 2 years, we had back-to-back men's basketball national championship wins, but more importantly, when Ben and Alex came into our lives. We both are grateful to our grad school classmates and mentors. I'm grateful to Soch and English. I'm grateful to my colleagues who were so wicked smart, and I learned every day just trying to keep up. Thank you to General Golden and General Kaufman and all the senior faculty. What a demonstration of caring leadership that only made you want to contribute more than you ever thought you could. I fell in love with the mission, the people, the values all over again. I loved teaching and I loved cadets. I had the wonderful opportunity to serve at NSA under the command of Mike Blythe, and I met awesome NCOs, soldiers, officers. I'm grateful to have met Lieutenant General Laura Potter, and I'm so proud of you. And my research battle buddy, Medell Ab, when we had the opportunity to meet up later in Chad and Djibouti. When I look back, I wish I would have been more effusive with gratitude, especially those awesome NCOs, Master Sergeant Harris. Let me turn to West Point. I'm grateful to my social leadership. Some I knew better than others, but let me thank the founders, General Lincoln, Buchema, and Jordan, and later General Olvey, Golden, Kaufman, Howard, and of course, Mike Meese, who I'll always be grateful to have served as his deputy. And then I had the honor to have Suzanne Nielsen as my deputy. Thank you. I'm grateful to our distinguished chairs that for me blossomed into wonderful friendships, such as Corey Shockey, from whom I learned unhurried moments. Thank goodness General McCaffrey brought you into my life. I had the honor while in Soch to meet Lori Dowdy. I'm so grateful for your wise counsel, empathy, and enduring friendship. I had the honor to serve with amazing senior military and civilian department leaders, and I will always cherish the rotating faculty who continue to inspire me every day. Thank you to the great social alum, supporters, and friends who taught me how to dream big. Thank you to the AOG, Bob McClure, Todd Brown, Kristen Sorensen, and General Jordan and General DeFrancisco, and all the great supporters. It was wonderful to be able to learn from Vinnie Viola, Bob and Diane McDonald, Joe and Linda Zengerly, Tony Manganello, Rob Andy, George Gilmore. I could go on and on. Thank you to the Long Gray Line. I'm grateful to our partners and collaborators, such as our Jersey City and Bard College partners. And I'm grateful for the year at the Naval War College, where I met a great friend who's since passed, Peter Leota. Thank you to all the superintendents under which I served. I'm truly, truly grateful, and they continue to mentor me to this day. I want to thank two superintendents whom I had a chance to serve as dean. First, General Caslin. What a remarkable human being, so empowering and humble. He always wanted his team to shine and let us run with it. Thank you, sir. From him, I learned what inspiring, inclusive leadership looks like. And I want to thank Shelley as well. General Williams, I can't say enough about that tremendous tribute that you just offered me. It's been an honor to serve with you, especially these last 15 months. I can't think of a more diverse set of challenges that you've had to deal with in just 3 short years. Thank you for your tenacity, your wisdom, and your energy. Building on the previous legacy of Soups, I personally appreciated your unconditional trust in having me lead the academic board and providing you with recommendations afterwards. The academic board has a powerful role centered on the Academy's mission. It's responsible for admissions and curriculum and cadet adjudication and senior faculty talent management. So when we talk strategic, there is nothing more strategic than setting conditions across these functions as we develop future leaders. In this past year, this board demonstrated that it not only reviews and deliberates on these issues that are brought forth through a robust shared governance process, but especially last spring, this deliberative body was agile. We were adjusting academic curricular policies, getting ready for over 3,000 summer school enrollments, modifying schedules. I can go on and on. In other words, the academic board was putting fuel in the locomotive engine while laying track. It was doing both. Thank you, General Williams, for that kind of empowering trust. And thank you, Erin, for your resiliency and good cheer, especially with this last year. To the academic board, I'm in awe of your talents, and here's where we've been truly strategic. The academic board is stronger, better equipped, and more diverse and inclusive than it's ever been. The academic board sits atop a strengthened tapestry of shared governance that enables countless innovations. The most important aspect, however, has been the deliberate talent management process of our senior military hirings. We are now the most diverse board as the deputies move into place. So where we've been strategic is by strengthening everyone who sits at the table. And let me tell you, who sits at the table matters as we develop leaders for the future. So continue to strengthen that academic board. And under Brigadier General Shane Reeves, I'm excited to see what the future holds. I want to thank all the deans I've served for, Brigadier General Galloway, Lampkin, General Kaufman. I can't express enough my debt of gratitude for your continued mentorship and friendship. General Finnegan, whom we miss terribly, and General Traynor, it is wonderful to see you again, truly. I am grateful to all the members of the BOD, great commandants, Diana Holland, Steve Gillen, Curtis Buzzard, and now General Quander. I had only 1 year with Diana Holland. It's going to sound familiar for a moment. You stole all my thunder. But having served with her for just a year, I felt like I had known her all my life. Wicked, smart, caring, professional. She was a great mentor for me. I loved how we used to have to check our hat after an event. But just in a short time, she quickly saw beyond the tactical circumstances and was bold to take action that would yield results beyond her tenure. She's a selfless leader who loved to see her team shine. She was someone I could bounce off ideas, and though we did not agree on everything, she made me sharper with her keen insights and perspective. The best compliment was when people mistook me for her. It happened so often, I stopped correcting them. I was like, yes, that's right. I'm Diana Holland. You would be an awesome and superb superintendent. I love serving with our ADs, Boo and Mike, our awesome CSMs, chiefs of staff, and our new CAG director, Dr. Peterson. I very much appreciated engaging and learning from our BOV under both Ms. Sue Fulton and Congressman Steve Womack, our ESG under General Milley and then General McConville. I counted up, I think, 7 secretaries of the Army, and it's great to see the Honorable Murphy here. And I also want to point out that the Honorable McCarthy was a tremendous mentor. And it's great to see now Secretary Wormuth. Thank you to Casey Wardinsky, Dr. Casey Wardinsky, Mr. Tom Kelly, and Mr. Roy Wallace. When I think about the 2 crises that have occurred over the last 5 years, the hiring freeze and the pandemic, and all the modernization efforts, I don't know what we would have done without you. I'm so grateful for your wisdom and partnership. I'm grateful to my dean's team, my vice deans, David Lyle, Mike Yankovic, Rachel Sonheimer, Craig Sheets, who's currently pedaling across the country, and my first year with Jean Blair. I could not ask for a better vice dean team. You are inspirational, innovative, and hardworking. And I loved how you all had different ideas and perspectives, and we made one another sharper. You are remarkable human beings. My XOs, Emily Spencer, Jake Shehay, and Nate Clayson, I love each of you. You brought great talent, care, and a sense of humor, and you made me better. Thank you to Marianne Daniello, Rosemary Smith, and now Janine Gizzi, awesome executive assistants. And the registrar, Jim Dalton. You are West Point. And the whole Dean's Directorate, you inspire me every day, but what most has inspired me has been your energy, your humor, your joyfulness, innovative ways. You are remarkable people who sparkle, especially over this last year. I was on a call with provosts from the Patriot League last summer, and they asked how we're thinking about the upcoming AY. I said, well, we're going to go down swinging. We did everything. My favorite was putting up tents for classes. They come down, I think, on 1 June, but they're still up there if you want to see them. Thank you to Garrison, the USMA staff, USCC, ODIA teammates. This year truly highlighted what an amazing community in which we belong. And to the faculty, I'm humbled and honored to have served with you. This year revealed most prominently what I knew all along. I'm forever inspired by your passion, talents, and love for our cadets. Your work day in and day out continues to pay dividends, and I'm in awe of each and every one of you. I've learned so much, and I know the future is bright. So finally, just as I fell in love with soldiers so long ago, I fell in love with the Corps. And I'm here to tell you as an old grad, and I can claim old grad, sir, that the Corps is, not has. Peer leadership is hard, but peer leadership in a pandemic, that's a whole other level of hard. And the Corps rose to the occasion and then some. And peer leadership in a social media world, I don't think it gets harder than that. And we have to think about how we develop leaders of character in a social media world. And we have to think about the legitimacy born of trust between our military and the society it serves. With these challenges in mind, not to mention our adversaries across all 5 domains, we have to know who we are, our identity. We must remember well, as I've said before, we're an academy in its truest sense. This duality of academia and military is so powerful in developing leaders of character, a faculty model, their curriculum, the sand, everything that we do, it makes up a tapestry that is so interconnected. The academic board is in the best position to ensure that the tapestry does not fray, does not unravel, but rather is strengthened with care. It takes shared governance, delicately balanced with military command. And we must remember well that we remain apolitical. It is not lost on me that I was appointed by President Obama, served most of my time under President Trump, and am finishing under President Biden. The fact that my certificate was signed by President Trump illustrates that my orders were cut in 2020, even though our retirement is today. So my tenure crossed 3 administrations. In all that time, we remain true to who we are, a public institution that develops leader of character who swear an oath to the Constitution, period. So make no mistake, our academy cannot fail. It's too important for the country. And this academy is in great hands. And I could not be more optimistic and confident knowing that the talented and extraordinary Brigadier General Shane Reeves is now the 15th Dean of the Academic Board. I'm excited for both Shane and Kim. And I'm humbled and honored to be able to serve at another great public institution, Ramapo College. It shares the mission of developing leaders for our society, leaders of character grounded in a broad liberal arts education. It is our institutions of higher learning that knit our society together, providing social mobility and access, for it is an educated citizenry that is a cornerstone of our democracy. Thank you to Susan Valerio, Peter Mercer, and Brittany Williams Goldstein. I look forward to serving the Ramapo community. We must remember well. I will remember you and forever be grateful. It has been an honor to serve, and an honor to serve as West Point's Dean of the Academic Board. Until we see each other again, be bold, be kind, be good teammates, and always, always, always outsmart Navy. Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to encourage you to stay standing. And General Williams, I believe the band actually has one more challenge for you. I would encourage you to relax as the band plays a selection at the request of Brigadier General Jebb.
Yes, and these words are words to live by. Don't worry about a thing. Sing along. 'Cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Sing and don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smiled at the West Point sun. 3 little birds perched on my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melodies pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Come on, everybody, you know this. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Come on, Sue. 'Cause every little thing's gonna be all right now. Singing, don't worry
about a thing. Sorry, because every little thing gonna be all right. Diane Ryan's right up here. I don't know the verse.
This morning,
I woke up this morning.
smiled at the West Point sun.
I really don't know.
On my doorstep,
I memorized it last time. I don't remember this time.
singing sweet songs.
I'll have to do push-ups. I don't remember my poop.
It's sure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Yeah.
Don't worry about a thing. Don't go too far from the mic. Okay, come on. Every little thing gonna be all right
Now,
Singing, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing's gonna be all right.
now, don't worry. Everything's going to be all right. Congratulations. Thank you, Sue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of the alma mater and the Army song.
Please join. Let duty be well performed. Let every hair adorned. Country be ever West Point. I thee. March along, sing our song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence, let it go. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Please remain standing for just one more minute, and I would like to ask General Retired Kaufman to please approach the podium and Brigadier General Jebb to return to the plane.
Cindy, welcome to the Association of Former Deans. Brigadier General Jebb, dismissed.
This concludes today's ceremony. The Jebb and Glazer families are invited to stay for a few brief photos. There will be no receiving line here at the plane. General Jebb and Dr. Jebb invite you to join them for a short reception in the West Point Club to your left, my right. Thank you.